You're doing everything right. The early mornings, the driving, the money, the sacrifices you don't even count anymore because counting them would feel like a burden. And you made a promise to yourself that your son or daughter's sport would never feel like a burden. You can see your player working. You know they're working. You've watched them work harder than their peers and teammates for years now, and they're still not moving up. So late at night, when the house gets quiet, everybody's in bed, and nobody's watching, you open your phone and search up the question you know you could never ask out loud to other parents at the rink. Why isn't my player getting noticed? What does it actually take to make Junior A in the next level? What are we missing? You scroll, you read 5 different answers and perspectives that all clash with each other. So you close the app, open it again, like opening the fridge, expecting to find a different snack. And somewhere underneath all of that searching, this feeling you haven't been able to shake, that maybe, despite everything you've done, you still don't actually know what's holding your player back. That's exactly what this video is going to fix. Here's what most serious hockey families are doing right now. Some form of private ice or power skating, showcases, travel tournaments, summer camps, and strength training, either self-led or with a trainer. It feels like this is all they could be doing. And season after season, they're improving, but not fast enough to reach their goals before they run out of time. And they feel what you see. So if they don't ask for help, you offer it. And then the advice starts pouring in from every direction. The team coach has feedback. The skating coach has feedback. A parent whose player made Junior A in the past has feedback. A YouTube video from a former pro has an opinion. A scout on a forum says something completely different. Everyone has an answer, and they're all telling a different story. And here's what makes that so difficult. These aren't random strangers. Some of these people know your player. Maybe they watch them every week. Their feedback may not be wrong. It's just uncoordinated and incomplete. There's no hierarchy to it. No one's sitting above all of it, deciding what's most important right now, what to fix first, and what to set aside until the more important things are handled. So naturally, you try and act on all of it at once, because ignoring any of it feels like you're leaving something on the table. But here's the truth no one shared. You don't have a volume problem. You have a direction problem. If you don't know what it is you're actually fixing, in what order, you're confusing being busy with making progress. And the worst part isn't the money. You've made peace with the investment. The worst part is that the doubt has not gone away. The doubt that you're doing everything you can to help your player. They're doing their part by putting in the hard work, and that you are letting them fall short by not knowing what it is they should work on. And it hits you when the silence of the car ride home is deafening, where all you can do is steal a quick glance of eye contact from the rearview mirror, hoping you can catch a smile or something to relieve the tension. You both know that something is off, but neither of you knows what to say. So you come up with excuses to rally behind together, like the coaches, or the refs, or the team we're on, the environment, something you can team up against without looking inward or addressing your own insecurities. The feeling that you're doing everything a good parent is supposed to do, and it still might not be enough, because you don't care if they make it. You care about knowing that you did what you could to help them. And you've probably even told them, it's gotta come from you. You've gotta want it. But when it does come from them, and they do want it, and they are working hard, now it falls back on you. It's whether you're doing your part, whether you're giving them every real chance, or just the appearance of one. Whether you're helping them navigate the path now, so that somewhere down the road, they aren't looking back wondering why nobody ever just told them what was actually in their way. That's the fear. And it's a completely reasonable one. Because nobody gave you a map, and the ones with opinions share them so that they can sound smart, not so they can help your player advance. Except, it's not their responsibility to have your player advance. It's yours and your players. I want to tell you something I don't share often. I was that player. My first year of junior hockey, I barely made a team. Not a good team. The worst team in the league, actually. We won 9 games that year. 9 out of 52. The team was run by the owner's sons. Our head coach quit before Christmas, and our backup goalie's dad stayed on our bench so that we could play games. I was 18 at the time, just graduated high school, and was quite academic. I passed on scholarships in university to have a parent coach lead our junior team. Safe to say, my teachers did not get it. My friends didn't get it. In my extended family, the first question of every conversation on the phone with them was, so, when are you going to school? And there were plenty of days I didn't get it myself. I was thinking, like, I gave up university for this? Is this what junior hockey is really like? My bags were packed the moment our season ended. A lot of guys stick around after the season for a week or sometimes 2 weeks just to decompress and unwind. I was gone the next day. And I tell you this for two reasons. First is that in every story, there's a reason to quit. Often, there are multiple. This was one of mine. And for me, it wasn't the first time I was ready to walk away from hockey. It was just the first time that I'd shared. Before that, I gave up rep at 14 because I was burnt out. When I was 15, multiple injuries caused coaches to even question if my body was built for hockey. There's always a reason to stop. And some quit, while some find a reason not to. It wasn't easy, but I was the latter. And I got lucky. New ownership came in the first offseason after my rookie junior year, and they raised the standard around me in a way I had never experienced. Not just on the ice, but everywhere. The level of buy-in, structure, and expectations all changed. And it started with the new owners gutting the previous roster. Of about 20 guys, only 6 were allowed to come to camp. Only 6 were even allowed to try out for a team they had already played for. And that was in August. By October, I was the only one left. By December, I was captain. And in a single year, we went from 9-43 to 24-21. But here's the thing I didn't understand until years later. Every level I reached, the standard was higher than I could have imagined or predicted on my own. I thought that new ownership showed me a higher standard. Then I got to university and realized it was even higher still. And not by a little bit. You genuinely cannot see what the next level requires of you until you are there yourself or you have someone who has already been there bring it down to you. And that's not a motivational line, that's just true. So from junior, I went on to earn a scholarship, play 5 years at university. And when I graduated, I was invited to help with another college program. It was there that I learned the resources that I had at my university were unique. They were not normal. I just didn't know it because I hadn't seen anything different. The development systems, the structure, the support was all top tier and exceptional. And I'd had access to it at the very end of my career, when I needed it the least. And that question landed on me, and it hasn't left since. Why is it players only get access to this level of support after they've already made it? I was the 18-year-old, bags packed, working hard with no map and no direction. And hockey gave me more than I can put into words. The discipline, the experiences, the person that it shaped me into. I wouldn't trade it for anything. But there were far too many moments I almost ended it. And your player shouldn't have to face the same burden. That's why Prodigy Athletics exists. Because hope isn't a strategy, and so you can take the lessons without the scars. So how do we do that? Here's what most people do when they want to fix something. They make a list of everything that's broken, and they try and fix it all at once. More skating, more strength, better nutrition, more film, trying to build confidence, the list goes on. And for younger players, that works to a degree. You're still developing across the board, and most things that you add make a difference. But at some point, and every serious player hits this point, adding more stops working. You plateau and you cap out. Effort is still there, but it's not translating like it used to, and nobody can explain why. That's your direction problem. And it's exactly what the bottleneck framework is designed to solve. The concept is simple. In any system, a factory, a business, a hockey player, there's one constraint that is limiting everything more than anything else. One thing that if you fixed it would unlock progress across the board. That's your bottleneck. And until you identify it, everything else you add is just noise around the real problem. Now, with athletes, this is easy to talk about, harder to implement, because it seems like we have so much variability, so much nuance of who we are and how we function, that finding a single constraint feels unreasonable. That's why most families never find it. Not because they aren't trying. You've already proven, you've already shown that you're putting in the effort. But because finding it requires someone to help you navigate all the advice, all of the opinions, all of the competing priorities, and look at your player specifically. Take a magnifying glass to their habits, their schedule, their physical preparation, their mental patterns, default modes, and tendencies, to look at how they train, how they recover, and how they show up in high stakes moments. All of it together, not in isolation. That's what the bottleneck framework is built for. And it's extensive by design because the bottleneck rarely lives where you expect it to. And in my experience, working with serious hockey players from 12 up to 26 across every level of the game, the bottleneck is almost never what the family comes in thinking it is. But once you find it and name it, you can't unsee it, and everything changes. I know that's not easy to hear, but it's the most valuable thing that I can tell you. And I know that it feels counterintuitive because you've been conditioned to do more, add more, try more. Pulling back on one thing feels like giving up. but it isn't. It's just the first time you're actually moving forward with a plan, because now you're not covering every base hoping something lands. You know exactly what to fix, exactly why it's limiting your player right now, and exactly what closing the gap looks like in practice. It's not a list of everything your player needs to work on. It's a ranking leading with the one thing they need to fix first, specific to them, specific to this moment in their development. And this is exactly what happened with Noah. Noah was 17 years old, playing prep at an academy when we first connected. Hard worker, coachable beyond his years, eager to learn, and genuinely willing to do the uncomfortable work. I want to be clear about that. I didn't give him those qualities. He walked in with them. He just didn't know what he didn't know. And his family was the same way. Calm, supportive, invested. They weren't panicked parents scrambling for a last resort. They're genuine people who loved their son and were serious about helping him reach his potential. They'd done their homework and they came in with a clear idea of what they thought Noah needed: nutrition. And they weren't wrong. Nutrition was part of it, but they had no idea how deep it actually went. When we ran Noah through the intake process, nutrition came up as one of the bottlenecks. So we addressed it, built him a plan, simple, practical, built around his schedule and his goals, and we made sure that his parents were part of it, because at 17, living at home or in a billet, the family has to be inside the solution for it to actually work. Noah didn't just follow that plan. He followed it and then some. He gained 20 pounds in a single off season. But here's what actually changed, and I'll let Noah tell you himself.
I think it's changed my confidence because I don't have to worry about whether I'm too tired. Let's say I show up to a game. I know that I'm prepared mentally, sleep-wise. I've eaten the right things. I've drank in the water. I've trained properly throughout the week, so when I step on the ice to go do what I do, I know that I've prepared myself and all I have to do is perform.
20 pounds, junior A now, sights on major junior next season. And what he's describing isn't nutrition, it's certainty. He walks into every game knowing he's done his part. That's what the bottleneck framework gave him. Not just a meal plan, but a foundation he could perform on top of. His parents, they noticed something different too. Here's what they said when I sat down with them.
When we were looking to add another coach to Noah's life, primarily we were looking to add things around nutrition and health and things like that. And the addition of the nutrition and health was something that was great that came about it. But it was actually just a very minute part of what Noah started working with Prodigy and Kenny on, was the nutrition and health. It was actually more about his human growth as a person and as a player and what he was using his assets for in order to get him to the next level. So what we were able to gain out of the program was a lot more than what they'd originally searched out to get.
A lot more than what they'd originally searched out to get. And the thing that they kept coming back to wasn't the weight, wasn't the level, it was this.
Noah's ability to hold a conversation with people of all ages. And these comments have been made to me throughout his journey, but have increased drastically over the last 6 months since he started working with Kenny and Prodigy. Is everybody is commenting on how much of a joy it is to have conversations with Noah and how much he's grown as an individual and as a person. And it's not always what he does on the ice, but he's being recognized for how he conducts himself, how he carries himself. The confidence or perceived confidence that it is that he has in how he conducts his day-to-day life is being recognized by both those that he plays with and those that he plays for.
That's what happens when you fix the right thing. The transformation doesn't stay contained to the bottleneck. It spills into everything. And because the foundation is right, everything built on top of it gets stronger. This wasn't a desperate family. They were already well established in their development decisions. They had coaches, they had structure, they came in for one specific piece. And what they found was fixing the right thing unlocked everything they already had. So if you're feeling like you're losing ground, imagine what identifying your player's actual bottleneck could do. Because Noah wasn't an outlier. He simply became the player he already knew he could be, through effort and structure pointed in the right direction. Because that's the only version of development that actually moves the needle. And that's just the first piece. The bottleneck framework is just one of 6 parts inside the intentional edge ecosystem. Knowing your bottleneck gives you clarity on what to fix right now, but there's a bigger question that most families are carrying underneath that one. What does junior A actually look like across everything? Not just one constraint, the entire picture. The complete map of what needs to be in place physically, mentally, on the ice, and off it before your player is truly approaching their potential and having scouts come to them with real offers and personalized invitations. That's what this next video is about. It's called the Advancement Map, and it's the thing I wish every hockey family had before they spent their first dollar on development, because it has the power to change every single decision they make after that. Linked on the screen, and I recommend you watch that next. I'll see you there. And if you're watching this and thinking, I don't want to wait for the next video, I want to know what my player's bottleneck is right now, and I want to work together to find it. The next step is simple. There's a link below to book a call with me directly. We'll go through your player's specific situation, identify what's actually in the way, and map out what needs to change right now. The link to my calendar is below, so I'll see you on a call or I'll see you in the next video. And if you want to see exactly what working together looks like, DM me 639 on Instagram. I'll send you everything you need to make a decision. No pressure, just the full picture. 639. So I'll see you in the DMs or I'll see you in the next video.